Michelle, ID 2703596. This is for lab number 5, chemical reactions. Okay, on the synthesis reaction activity, I started with a room temperature of 295, 15 kelvins. After 5 minutes, I observed it had went up to 311.15 kelvins. And then after the 10-minute mark, I observed a 303.15 kelvins. It was already starting to drop back down. So it didn't stay hot for very long. It lost its heat pretty quick. The decomposition reaction, after 1 minute, I saw it bubbling up, foaming. The yeast was sitting on top. It separated. The gas was forming on the side of the test tube. I heard like sizzling or popping, and it smelled really yeasty. When I swirled it, it got frothy. It looked milky, and there was heat. I felt heat on the test tube. For the glowing stick, there was more heat and more gas produced when I used the glowing stick for the test tube. There was more precipitate on the tube than was before. For the flame stick made the yeast completely separated the yeast from the hydrogen peroxide, and it switched the yeast from the top to the bottom of the test tube, and it made more heat. Well, I felt like it was more heat. I might have been judging it wrong, but it felt like it was hotter. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It switched places. On the single replacement reaction, activity number 3, at the 10-minute observation, there was just precipitate gas on the side of the tube. And then when I did the flame splint, a combustion reaction happened. It was a pop, and there was a whole lot more precipitate on the inside of the tube. So that was pretty cool. Double replacement reaction, the activity 4, 1 minute observation, I saw bubbles, the baking soda on the bottom, and it just bubbled up. Once I swirled it, it made the vinegar murky, and then there were less bubbles. It killed out some of those bubbles. And so that was it. That was a pretty simple one. On the combustion reaction, activity number 5, the 30-second observation, the tube had just precipitate in it. And the gas, when I poured the gases over the vinegar, it made the bubbles back down. And my guess is that it was stopping the reaction from happening, because they immediately started backing back down, and it completely calmed. So, yeah. Then on the 6, what was 6? The precipitation reaction, the activity 6, I observed the lime water bubbling up. That's all it did, was bubble up every time I would add in a little bit more. As I was adding the baking soda, was it hydrogen peroxide on that one? To the baking soda, it was making the lime water bubble up. And then, what was that one? Vinegar. Okay, so it was making it bubble up. That's what I, observed. On number 7, the combustion reaction, the steel wool was attempting to burn. The burns would catch, and it would burn up the fibers of steel wool. It didn't catch fire as a whole piece of wool, a piece of object, and it smelled. So it gave off a smell, and of course it was turning a rusty color after being burned, and a blackened, charred color. So that's it for my lab chemical reactions number 5. Thank you.